Okay, we're going to be looking at the Unit 3 assignments. Our first assignment is called Lake Bob. You will be creating an island that I can change the size of the island and Bob can still run around the island, rectangles. So what you're going to do is Bob is going to beautify the land around the lake. You're going to make Bob plant the flowers from his sack. So the first thing you need to do is create an island with a rectangle lake on it. Then you're going to do a save as and name it Lake Bob. The location and size are not important. You can change the starting point in the constructor. I started my constructor New Jeru 6,6 East with 32 flowers. You can change that information, okay? So save it as Lake Bob. Make sure Bob is somewhere on the edge of the lake with 32 or more flowers. Of course, you can always give him more flowers. So in your main method, you have your instantiation of Bob, and then you have your boolean. So while Bob dot has flower, Bob will be planting. In your method planting, you're going to make sure that the water is on the right side of him. What do we do as long as the water is on the right side of him? He's going to be planting, else he needs to do something else, turn somehow, and at the end, your Jeru should look like this. So he's going to go all the way around and he is going to plant flowers around the edge of the water. So then our next assignment is called Runner. In this one, Bob is going to run around a lake of any size. We will use the flower to make him stop. We've done this in previous assignments, so you're going to save the source code and the island as Runner. If the lake is rectangular, it is worth 20 points. So if you just do a rectangle island like this island right here, it is worth 20 points. If you make your island a little more difficult, like this one where he will have to check and see if he can keep going forward, then you will need, then that lake will be worth 25 points. And here are some examples of different lakes. Now, I would be very careful not to make a blind alley where he is going to come down and really have no choices of where to go. If you do that, it's going to take a lot more code to solve that. So be very careful in how you create your alleys. Like this one right here, this is pretty wide space for him to get around. If you do this one, he may have some problems. Okay, so like I said, if you do just a rectangle, that is 20 points. If you do a harder island, it is 25 points. Make sure you save it as Runner. Again, I have given you the main method and the method run for him to run around the island, and you are going to go in and fix that code. Once you have done both of these assignments, then you will have your final project for Jeru. This assignment is worth up to 50 points. Choose one of these. So if you are behind, then you may want to do Spiral. It's worth 40 points. Spiral can be done with either water or nets, but you are going to make a spiral shape just like this right here. And your Jeru is going to start in this corner right here, and then he will make a spiral all the way until he gets to the flower. This is a pretty simple program. You have done some other programs where you can look at your code that you have done in previous programs, use that, and make it appropriate. For this one, I'm not going to give you a template. You should be able to use all of the codes that you have done before to figure this one out. All right, so then Farmer 2 is your next program. If you do the first one of Farmer 2, then that is worth 45 points. You're going to open Farmer 1 and open the island, and you're going to save it as Farmer 2. You're going to change your island. In the original island, all of the stalks are exactly the same distance apart, except now you are going to make them different heights. Okay, so they'll all have a different height. You're going to change your reap method. You will need 2 while loops in the method to replace the trip up the plant. It was 6 hops, and now we need to check and make sure that there's a net to the right of us. So you're going to change that. You're going to add the while loop. It changes each time, so Drew has to hop to his left or to his right look to his left or to his right before he hops. Think about what boolean to use and do that. And this this one is worth 45. If you stop here, it's 45 points. If you decide that you would really like all 50 points, then what you're going to do is you're going to take your farmer 2 and save it as farmer 3, and then continue to add the new information. So you will do everything you did in farmer 2 and add all the uneven stalks, except that you're going to change the distance between the stalks. So it will no longer be evenly spaced out. You're going to change everything. So if you have time to continue, you're going to save the new island as farmer 3. You're going to do the same with your program before you start making any changes. Change the island to this with the spacing and the plants. Some hints. You will need a while loop in the main method. I used while not farmer Bob dot is water right. I recommend creating a method for moving in between the plants. You will need a while loop. There can be a while loop inside a while loop in the main method. If you stop here and it runs and it works, it's worth 50 points. Okay, so if you have any questions, please contact me.